This week on Adventist News Network, recognition for a church anti-smoking pioneer.
Creating a safe environment at church and school.
And educating girls in Kenya.
These stories and more coming up.
This is Adventist News Network, a service of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church. Thanks for joining us this week.
First in the news, an Adventist anti-smoking pioneer is receiving recognition for a lifetime of promoting healthy living. The Adventist Church recently awarded 92-year-old Dennis Bard a Health Ministries Medal of Distinction. Bard led research in the 70s to study whether cigarettes in South Africa contained higher levels of nicotine and tar than in other countries. He suspected the cigarettes were unusually lethal when cases of lung cancer spiked among smokers there. His research proved difficult, however, when tobacco companies refused to cooperate. Bard ended up lugging a suitcase of cigarettes to the Center for Disease Control in the U.S. state of Georgia for analysis. Later, the country's government got on board to control tobacco. In recent years, the American Cancer Society awarded the South African government's Ministry of Health for its support of anti-tobacco legislation.
The Church's Risk Management Organisation is educating members on keeping kids, churches and schools safe from sex offenders with a series of articles. They're written by consultant Corey Jewel Jensen, who provides training in abuse prevention to Adventist church administrators in North America. Adventist Risk Management says parents must begin teaching children early on how to recognise and report abuse. Statistics indicate that fewer than 1 in 10 children tell anyone they're being abused. Jensen says it's also not easy to identify the abuser, many of whom are close, trusted friends or relatives. Adventist Risk Management is urging all churches to train pastors, elders and staff in spotting and stopping abuse.
Adventist young people in Mongolia participated in a Bible knowledge contest recently. Before an audience of more than 100 at the Ulaanbaatar Central Adventist Church, dozens of contestants answered questions from the Old Testament books of Samuel, Kings, and Chronicles. Finalists earned medals, and church leaders say the Bible quiz helped build camaraderie among church members and encouraged more Bible study.
Argentina's organ donation campaign is finding traction within the country's faith communities. Adventists and other faith representatives attended the 11th Annual International Organ Donation Congress held recently in Buenos Aires. Faith leaders cited principles such as generosity and compassion in their support of organ donation. Adventist delegate Jorge Alberto Gonzalez said Christians should follow Jesus' example by extending a second chance at life to all those in need. Adventists have previously promoted organ donation in the United Kingdom. British Adventists met with Parliament in 2010 to formalise the Church's support of that country's organ donation campaign.
This week, the Adventist World Church is wrapping up its 2-week prayer initiative, Operation Global Rain. Church members in North America joined in by meeting for a special all-night prayer teleconference to usher in the new year. Members and leaders prayed for Operation Global Rain, as well as call-in requests from members and leaders across the region.
Human rights advocates are calling the recent death of Tunisian human rights lawyer Abdel Fattah Amour a great loss for the international religious freedom community. Amour advised the United Nations on issues of religious intolerance for more than a decade. He spoke out against repression and frequently worked to combat persecution of Adventists and other religious minorities worldwide. Adventist World Church Public Affairs and Religious Liberty Director John Gratz says Amour was a friend to the Church and a man of great courage and integrity.
9-year-old Joyce would be somebody's third wife right now were it not for a rehabilitation center in Kenya run by the Adventist Church. We're not using her real name because Joyce is one of many young Kenyan girls routinely forced into arranged marriages with older men after undergoing female genital mutilation. The tradition is seen as a rite of passage among the country's Maasai population, but now Kajiado Adventist Education and Rehabilitation Center is offering a different rite of passage, graduation. For more than a decade, the center has been a haven for hundreds of girls rescued from early marriages. It provides Christian education and training in life skills. Before Joyce came to the center, her day began at 6 a.m. doing household chores. Now, she's a typical schoolgirl studying toward a better future. I sat down with Heather Dawn Small today to learn more about how the Adventist Church is raising awareness of child marriages. Heather Dawn, you visited this rehabilitation center in Kenya. What was your impression of their work?
The first time I visited there, I have to tell you, I was really amazed. I was amazed because of how well organized everything was. The fact that they had dormitories for the girls, they had classrooms, they had teacher facilities, they had cafeteria and classrooms. I mean, everything was so well organized, and the girls had on their beautiful little uniforms, and they sang for me, and I was just amazed at how much they are doing with so little.
How pervasive is the problem of child marriages in Kenya?
It is a huge problem, but I have to say the government of Kenya has been doing a lot of work to reduce this particular problem. But it is a tribal issue, it is a cultural problem, but there are those whose eyes are opening even more and more to the many young girls who are dying because of this problem. So it is a pervasive problem, but it is getting a little better.
How is the Adventist Church raising awareness of this issue?
Well, that's where our End It Now program comes in, because one of the things we have done with the End It Now, one aspect is talking about violence against girls. And under that, we have the problem of early childhood marriages, which is just where this falls. So End It Now has been in the churches where we've been going and promoting the information that comes right under there, because we want people to understand that this problem of violence is not just domestic violence, that there are so many other areas.
Thank you, Heather Dawn.
You're welcome.
Coming up, a preview of this week's Adventist Review.
Welcome back. This week's issue of Adventist Review weighs in on whether the Bible is compatible with psychology. Here's Kimberly Moran with a preview.
In this week's Adventist Review cover story titled Psyche, Suke, and Soul, Jennifer Jill Schwerzer starts by describing a counseling experience she had with a patient named Sarah. Schwerzer was a fairly new counselor, and the experience with the lonely, hopeless Sarah taught Schwerzer that her spirituality was a powerful and effective tool. It is possible to have a biblical view of psychology, and Schwerzer shows us how. This is an intelligent, accessible article that is also eye-opening and thought-provoking. Be sure to check it out at www.adventistreview.org. And if you want more on the topic, look for Schwerzer's recent book, 13 Weeks to Peace. Another feature in this review that bears mention is Edwin Orsenio Centerwall's article titled Those Crystal Blue Eyes. The author makes a startling discovery at a train station in India when he encounters a blue-eyed baby named Mary. This is one you'll want to read and share with others. To read these articles and others, be sure to visit www.adventistreview.org.
For an Adventist missionary serving in Australia, a fledgling Bible study group reveals God's guidance. Tanya Holland has this report.
I'm Tanya Holland, and this is Meet a Missionary. Have you ever wanted to become a missionary? Well, today I would like for you to listen to Jonathan, and he's in Sydney. Hi, Jonathan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks, Tanya.
Good. Tell me, where are you originally from?
Originally, I'm from the UK, and I've been a missionary in Australia for the last 3 months.
Can you tell us a wonderful, inspiring story where you can sense God's presence while you're there serving?
Yeah, there's a school called Macquarie College where I'm working, and I've just started a Bible study there. It's with 3 Year 8 girls, and some of the questions they were having about God just really encouraged me about the importance of doing ministry and mission anywhere.
That's wonderful. And you said there was Bible stories?
Well, no, it was a Bible study, and they had a lot of questions about God. Just how can He be good with all this suffering and things like that? What's it like to live forever? And so we're just working through the Bible, trying to answer some of those questions.
Thank you, Jonathan.
No problem, thank you.
If you would like to become a missionary, please visit us at adventistvolunteers.org.
Let's turn to Megan Bronner for this week's social media highlights.
This week in social media, our most popular link from the Adventist Church Twitter account announced the 2-week prayer initiative, Operation Global Rain. On our ANN Facebook page, our most liked post this week was a photo from the Asia Pacific International University in Thailand, showing a recent cultural event. Make sure you visit us on twitter.com/Adventist Church and facebook.com/Adventist News to keep up with our latest stories and photos. We're finishing up the second week in January, so I thought I'd ask what tips you had for keeping up your New Year's resolutions. On Twitter, Brent Lundy said putting Christ first in everything is the key for him. Dione Rochelle said to do your new habit every day for a month, but one day at a time. Start back at day 1 if you slip up. She also said, no one will give you permission but yourself, and don't be your own excuse to fail. Ms. Munari agreed about taking it one day at a time. She said, repetition is the mother of success. Have some tips of your own? Join the conversation on twitter.com/Adventist News. Make sure to tune in next week when we talk to the guy behind Andrews University's friendly social media efforts.
Revival can impact every aspect of spiritual life. We asked Erika Puni to outline resources for revival available through Stewardship Ministries.
Earlier this year, stewardship leaders from around the world met at the Seventh-day Adventist World Headquarters at Silver Spring, Maryland, United States. The purpose of these meetings were to plan, but also to train our leaders in this ministry. Now, one of the areas that we planned for these next 5 years is the Great Controversy project of the church. Now, what can the stewardship department do in relation to this project? Firstly, we have committed ourselves to individually read the book this year and to be part of the distribution next year. Secondly, we have agreed in principle to set aside portions of our budgets, operating budgets for our department, so that we can purchase copies of the book and have these copies available at our training events everywhere. In addition to this, we have also reminded ourselves that Seventh-day Adventist members around the world need to be reminded of the philosophy of systematic giving. Systematic giving is about the returning of the Lord's tithe and the giving of offerings. But also included is to make provision for special projects. In this year, we're appealing to our members to give a special financial gift for this project, the Great Controversy.
You don't need special training to create a user-friendly website. We'll show you how coming up.
While reading The Great Hope, I came across a passage that filled me with such joy and promise, I'd like to share it with you. As travelers perishing from thirst welcome with joy a living water spring, so did these souls receive the message of heaven. The laborers in the field, the artisans in the workshop cheered their daily toil by talking of the precious truths of the Bible. At evening, instead of resorting to the wine shops, They assembled in one another's homes to read God's Word and join in prayer and praise. This gives me hope because just through prayer and praise, through fellowshipping with each other, we will shine the light of Jesus through our communities.
Welcome back. Here's John Beckett with our Tech Corner. This week, how to improve your website's usability.
Today we're going to talk about something that's often neglected but a critical part of making your website successful: usability testing. By this we mean testing a site to see how easy it is for visitors to use. If you want to do this professionally, you can get a master's degree in human-computer interaction and do tests in a lab with equipment that tracks eye movement. However, it's not hard for anyone to do simple usability testing of their website. To get started, make a list of questions you hope a visitor would be able to answer when visiting your site. Now find a volunteer and show them your site. You'll want to reassure them that it's the website being tested, not them. Ask them to say out loud what they're thinking. Now take notes or record a video of what happens when you ask your questions. For example, you might ask, "What do you think this site's about? Does this site make you feel welcome? Where would you go to find the most recent news? Who's the pastor? What time does church start on Sabbath?" Try not to intervene or help them. You'll be surprised at how many things you thought were easy that a website visitor struggles with. You may want to end by asking if they have any other comments or ideas for improvement. Once you've tested your site with a number of people, you'll have a good idea of what parts work well and a list of things that need improvement. If you want to learn more, I recommend reading Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug. It's a fun-to-read book that's filled with practical usability advice.
Adventist women looking to strengthen their talents and develop new skills might be interested in a certificate offered through the Church's women's ministries. Raquel Araiz explains.
Leadership, training, and education are areas that women's ministries care about. I like the quotation from Helen White that says, "That is a high purpose for woman, a grander destiny. She should develop and cultivate her powers for God, can employ them to the great work of saving souls." It's beautiful. That's why Women's Ministries has developed a wonderful leadership certification program that enable, equip, and train women to be better leaders in many areas of the church. If you'd like more information about the Leadership Certification Program for women's ministries and local church leaders, you just go to our website, www.adventistwomensministries.org, and you can evaluate and see the 4 levels of this wonderful program made for women.
For our Family Ministries feature this week, Willie and Elaine Oliver outlined some of the unexpected benefits of prayer.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church believes in prayer. Our world president believes in prayer. In fact, we're in the period we're calling Revival and Reformation. And we have an initiative called 777, Seventh-day Adventists praying 7 days a week, 7 in the morning and 7 in the evening. We do that in family ministries as well. If you email us, go onto our website at family.adventist.org and leave your prayer requests. We will be praying for you. Remember that the Lord has promised to supply all of our needs. Whatever we need, let's take it to the Lord in prayer. And the family ministry staff will be praying for you. We hope that you will take advantage of this opportunity and have your family prayed up.
Well, the prayer initiative is more than an initiative. It's really an opportunity for families to connect together with each other, to bond with each other, and to connect with God. So we're really encouraging families in 2012 to revive their family worship time, to spend time together in family worship with each other, whether it's in the morning or in the evening, or both morning and evening. We found in our own family that when we came together as a family to do family worship, it really was a time of our family becoming more intimate with each other. Our children had an opportunity to share with us things that were going on in their day. And so families need to know that family worship doesn't have to be the way it used to be. Family worship can now be a time where families are gathering, praying to God, and supporting one another.
So we encourage you to pray.
Now let's hear from Lisa Beardsley Hardy. She updates us on an Adventist school in South America's Amazon region.
I have an email here that I'd like to share with you. My question today has to do with the plans for the campus and the buildings. We are working on the assignment. Things are going well, but there are hitches here and there, but we feel there's progress. We had the plans for the campus and the buildings on huge pieces of paper. We also have them in AutoCAD on a CD. We thought to reduce them to letter-sized paper to put them in the report, but the reductions are just too small to figure out. What do you want us to do with the plans? This past summer, I was able to go to this campus that is written about in this email. It is in the outskirts of the city of Belém, on the mouth of the Amazon River. In fact, when I was flying into the city, I thought we were flying over the ocean as the plane circled around, but that actually was the mouth of the Amazon. It is so wide at that spot. A big place has been cleared in the jungle, and a brand new campus is there. Beautiful new buildings, new dormitories, some small houses for married students, and students are already starting to study theology there. Donors have supported this, and there's a brand new library, and inside the library is the original boat of the original missionary physician that went up and down the Amazon River, living there with his wife, Amazonia College in Belém, Brazil.
When we come back, this week's iShare Report.
Welcome back. Let's turn to Sergio Gonzalez to find out what you reported this week.
Welcome to iShare, where you bring the news to us. Today I wanted to remind you all about the camera giveaway we're doing in February. We have 4 used handheld cameras that we're giving to 4 lucky iShare reporters. If you want to enter to win, visit news.adventist.org/iShare and click the Enter the Video Camera Giveaway button. If you want to increase your chances of winning, we'll add your name to the drawing again every time you submit an iShare report. Stories should be video clips about 1 minute in length and include narration, B-roll, and on-camera reporting. Don't forget the contest ends January 31st, and we'll be announcing our winners on our February 3rd edition of iShare. Thanks for watching.
Now let's hear from Chaplaincy Ministries. We asked Gary Council to tell us more about some of the department's new professional development resources.
New Year brings resolutions and opportunities for new beginnings. And Adventist Chaplaincy Ministries, in collaboration with Loma Linda University, is offering a new start for pastors and chaplains. Sometimes pastors have not always had the advantage of an Adventist education, or they may even be a convert into the church and have familiarity with our doctrines, beliefs, and practices, but not always our heritage and our background. Consequently, we have developed an online post-baccalaureate graduate program where members and pastors can catch up, so to speak, with the void that they may not have had the advantage of having. If you are interested in this kind of professional development, of advancing your career, of becoming a board-certified chaplain, contact Raylene Brower at Loma Linda University or the Adventist Chaplaincy Ministries office, and we can provide you the details. Some scholarship is available for ecclesiastically endorsed chaplains.
Finally this week, we turn to Adventist historian David Trim to learn about a watershed in the development of church doctrine.
At the start of this week, 125 years ago, a distinguished Seventh-day Adventist leader died. John Byington was one of the most beloved pastors of the early Sabbatarian Adventists, initially in New York and later in Michigan. But his claim to fame is that he was the first president of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, elected at the very first General Conference session in May 1863 at the age of 65. Father John, as he was affectionately known, served 2 one-year terms and then, in May 1865, was replaced by James White. Byington lived another 22 years before his death on January 7, 1887, aged 89. On January 8 in 1876, the first Seventh-day Adventist baptism in Germany took place, when 8 people were baptized at the northwest German town of Elberfeld. On January 12 in 1855, Elliot Joseph Waggoner, influential early Adventist theologian, was born in Waukon, Wisconsin. The son of J.H. Waggoner, one of the chief early Seventh-day Adventist leaders, E.J. Waggoner's first career was as a doctor, but later he became an editor and preacher. In 1884, aged 29, he met Alonzo T. Jones, with whom his name will always be associated. The two men were ardent proclaimers of righteousness by faith, and Waggoner's series of sermons on this subject at the 1888 General Conference session in Minneapolis was a key watershed in the development of the Adventist Church. Those were the events of this week in Adventist history.
Thanks for watching Adventist News Network. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
As always, you can visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next week, God bless.